welcome to another RSR. Tonight we are reviewing Argentina 3, Costa Rica 1, 3-1 Argentina, and also recapping the first round of the 2026 CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers. Recap, reaction de la rumbo a la Mundial de la CONCACAF Primera Ronda. So, we'll start with the Argentina game. We ain't got much to say because it went pretty much how you expected, sort of. And then we'll touch on the World Cup qualifiers. We're going to start with Argentina-Costa Rica. In the 34th minute, we got Manfred Ugalde scoring a goal to make it 0-1. 0-1. Rebound falls to Ugalde. He slides it in. Horrible rebound to let up by Argentina. And Costa Rica has the lead. And they will at the half as well. 0-1, 0-1, medio tiempo. Argentina losing to Costa Rica after 45. And it's like, damn, they dominated on possession. They dominated with shots going forward. Everything but the goals. But in the end, Argentina still found a way to win. Angel Di Maria with a free kick in the 53rd minute. Bangs it into the net past Navas. 1-1, 1-1. 57th minute, Alexis McAllister scores a header after a couple of rebounds, leads the ball, landing to McAllister. 2-1, 2-1. Then Lautaro Martinez scores a goal, onside, takes the shot, pops it in. 77th minute, 3-1, 3-1. And that's the way it would end. 3-1 Argentina, 3-1 Argentina. The world champions beat Costa Rica. In the end, wasn't the best situation, but it gets done. Stats are as follows. 23 shots to 7. 13 shots on goal to 3. 74% possession to 26. 777 passes to 275. 89% pass accuracy to 72. 14 fouls to 20. 1 offside to 0. 1 yellow card to 1. 0 red cards to 0. And 7 corners to 1. Argentina does enough to win. The second half was way better. I mean, they were still the best team. They were the way better team over 90 minutes. They dominated. They had the possession. They had the goals in the end. They had the ball forward. They had the possession. They just almost got stonewalled by Keylor Navas. Keylor Navas legitimately could have won this game for Costa Rica. He didn't, but he could have. A classic Keylor Navas performance almost leads to a Costa Rica victory against Argentina. Almost is 3-1. I know that's crazy, but just look at the situation, right? It's Argentina. It's the world champions. I mean, yeah, Costa Rica looked amazing this window, especially against Honduras in the Copa play-in, the Copa Repechaje. They looked good against Argentina. Overall, yeah, Costa Rica's looked very sharp. They don't look better than Mexico, but they look a lot more sharp than Mexico. Somebody compared them in the stream, and I'm like, yeah, Costa Rica's looked a lot more sharp than El Tri this window, for sure. The rebounds, the rebuild has been quick. They quick reloaded it on the draw like they were John Wayne. Some good moves. Manfred Ugalde looked awesome this window. Costa Rica could keep their heads held high. They're in the Copa, and they damn near played well. They damn near beat Argentina or even drew them, but they played well. Good defense, good goalkeeping. Offense did its job at time when it was needed to do its job. Yeah, there were some bad rebounds on both sides, which basically led to 3 of the goals. And then the free kick. Well, not 2 of the goals, half of them. Then you had the free kick and then the Lautaro goal. But again, Argentina, they did what you expected them to do. They still won by multiple goals. That's all I got to say about them. Di Maria with a beautiful free kick. Lautaro scored. McAllister scored. They had their best 11. It should have been by more. Besides Messi and Emi Martinez. But pretty much they had their best 11. And I thought, this game should be over quickly. It wasn't. Costa Rica made this interesting, which is a very big plaudit to them. They made this interesting because I didn't think this was going to be interesting. I thought, hey, we'll be live for it because it's Argentina. And I can't watch the World Cup qualifiers. We'll get to that, though. But, again, I got enough from the scoreboards and other things. Other first-hand accounts. Trust me. But I know what happened. I just couldn't watch it. Thanks, CONCACAF. With that being said, Argentina did what they were supposed to do. That's pretty much all I could say there. Costa Rica, I'm very wowed by this past window. They had a really good window. They might just be back, I gotta say. Man of the match for me is Di Maria with the goal that turned this game on its head, or turned this game into what it should have been. We'll go with it. So, yeah, that's a pretty quick review on Argentina, Costa Rica, but there ain't much to say because, to be honest, there just isn't much to say. Now, let's talk about the CONCACAF World Cup qualifying round 1. We will talk about this. I'll tell you how my predictions went, and we'll go in the order of how these 2 legs finished, or 2 second legs finished. British Virgin Islands, 1. U.S. Virgin Islands, 1. 4-2 on penalties. British Virgin Islands, 1. U.S. Virgin Islands, 1. 4-2 en penales. British Virgin Islands advance to the second round of World Cup qualifying, which I was right about this. I had the British Virgin Islands winning the tie. I was correct. 1 for 1 on my predictions. 1-0 on my first round predictions. First leg. Biashka scores. Or Blashka. That was not big enough for an L. Blashka scores first late. Hugo Costa Lazario equalizes in stoppage time for the BVI, British Virgin Islands. Tight game for most of the 90 minutes. A draw for most of the 90 minutes. 2 goals late. It was a very tough tie defensively. Both teams did want to put a foot wrong, and they didn't in the second leg either. But Blashka scores first. Lazario equalized in the first leg. 1-1 at the end of it. Then they go down to the British Virgin Islands for the second leg. 0-0 for 120 minutes. They go to penalty shootout. Shootout ends 4-2 to the British Virgin Islands. Bertie, Wiltshire, Forbes, and Callblood score. For the BVI. Gallimore missed. Kendall and Ramos score for the USVI. White and Blashka, or Gallimore missed for the BVI. Kendall and Ramos score for the U.S. Virgin Islands. White and Blashka miss. Blashka, their star, misses a penalty and put them out. Their star put them in to a good position, then ruined it. That's got to suck. But again, a tight tie. BVI and USVI both didn't want to put a foot wrong, and it came down to penalties, which both these ties came down to penalties. But again, I was right about the BVI winning. I thought they were slightly better. They didn't play as well as I thought they would, but in the end, they weren't as dominant as I thought they would be against the USVI, but it was a very interesting tie. Then, Turks and Caicos Islands, 1. Anguilla, 1. 3-4 on penalties. Turks and Caicos Islands, 1. Anguilla, 1. 3-4 penales. Turks and Caicos, I had them winning this tie. I was wrong. Anguilla finally wins. Well, before we say that, I was wrong about that. 1 for 2 on my first round predictions, 1-1. Anguilla wins their first World Cup qualifying round ever in CONCACAF history since they've played the 2002 qualifying cycle in 2000. Their first round win. They moved to the second round for the first time ever. Listen, first leg, a 0-0 draw in Anguilla. Anguilla's first positive result in CONCACAF World Cup qualifying since March 21st, 2004, which was a streak of 11 World Cup qualifying losses. And that was their second draw ever of 3 that they have because, well, we'll get there. Their second draw ever. That March 21st game was their first ever positive result. They lost both in the 2 legs in 2002. They come back for 2006 qualifying, draw the first leg, get curb stomped in the second leg. Haven't won since and haven't drawn since, but then they draw here, of course. 11. First positive result in 11 and second positive result in 13 or 14. This would be 15, right? So, The only time it wasn't a two-legged tie was 2021. That first round of 2021 in the group stage. They lost all those games. Tight defensive game. Anguilla kept Billy Forbes quiet. Very tight game in the first leg. Very, very tight defensive game in the first leg. Billy Forbes, Turks' star, was kept quiet. And you know what? Gotta say, I'm pretty surprised. Anguilla's the worst team in CONCACAF by ranking, and they found a way. Second leg, in a very good position, going away, 1-1 after 90. Extra time is played, still 1-1 through 120. First goal was scored by Billy Forbes in the 23rd minute. Luke Paris scores a penalty in the 45+3 to equalize it, which people in Turks say that should have never happened. The penalty should have never happened, shouldn't even have been given. It was a dive, but they shouldn't even have been at the time to where that penalty would be given. Luke Paris scores the penalty for Anguilla. We're tied. And then we go another half tied. We go the extra time tied. Billy Forbes, the star man, scores the first goal of the tie. And in the end, it's 1-1. Penalties. Turks and Caicos. Howell misses. Cadet scores. Luisi misses. Forbes scores. Paul scores. That is 3 penalties. 3 penalties for Turks. Anguilla. Duncan scores. Lawrence misses. Paris scores. Deans scores. Connor scores. Carpenter misses. It's not in order because SofaScore was definitely not in order. But it went to 6 rounds. Anguilla wins in sudden death. 3-4. 3-4 on penalties. Again, I had Turks winning, and I was wrong about that. 1-for-1 on my first round predictions. But again, Anguilla finally wins their first ever first round tie in CONCACAF World Cup qualifying. Of course, it was only 2 draws and a penalty win. But they've had 2 straight positive results after a streak of 11 losses after a draw in 2004. And then 2 losses before that draw. So this is their 3rd draw in World Cup qualifying. That would be 11, 12, 13 losses, 16 games played, 3 draws, 13 losses, no wins. But they still finally got to their first step. That's how crazy it is. They got to their first ever second round without even ever winning a CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers game, which exactly explains why they're in the situation they're in. But a penalty shootout, by the rules, is not a win. It's a draw with a shootout win. So you could say it's a win, but is it? Not by the rules. Not by the rules. It's still a draw technicality, of course. They won the shootout, which is the tiebreaker that put them through. They won the tiebreaker, not the game. But they're through. If you want to call it a win, if you're Anguillan, sure, go ahead. With that being said, 3 draws, 13 losses in the second round for the first time ever. Yeah, that's not going to end well, isn't it? That's not going to end well in June. The Junes, 24 and 25. But with that being said, 1-1. 1 for 2 of my World Cup qualifier first round predictions. I'm not happy that CONCACAF didn't show these because you know what? I think it should be a rule that in your confederation, these games should be shown around the confederation in World Cup qualifying. I'm not saying around the world because I don't know what British person would watch an Anguillan versus Turks game. Well, aren't there actually? Isn't there a bit of a Turks and Anguillan? Well, British Virgin Islands, true as well. Okay, scratch that. That was a stupid comparison. But there ain't many people outside of CONCACAF that will watch these games. I didn't say you'd have to show it around the world. But the fact you didn't show these games at all is wrong in CONCACAF. Even on your YouTube channel, they should have been shown all 4 of these games, and they weren't. And I think that sucks. I think you're wrong, CONCACAF. I hope the second legs are shown. I hope you're better for the second legs with Jamaica, some actual big countries, or everybody but the big 3. I hope you do show those games, and then, of course, show the final rounds in 2025, fall of 2025. I know you can because you've been showing Nations League games. Hell, you recorded their Nations League games of all 4 of these countries. So the fact you didn't do these, that's just sad. It really is. I would have watched them. So with that being said, that's my last point. If you like this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell your friends. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell notification once subscribed. Send super chats on the live streams. Comment on this video. Put us in playlist. Share it with friends and family. All that great stuff. I will see you on Saturday. Possibly Friday, if I get my Toronto FC jersey before that. But Saturday, it's possible I have the TFC jersey before the match this weekend, the new one. I'll be live on Saturday for Toronto FC versus Sporting Kansas City, and I'll review that. So I'll see you on Saturday. We have a couple of days off. Enjoy it, because I killed 2 birds with 1 stone here. I'll see you on Saturday. I'm Ryan, and I'm out. Peace. See you.